Welcome back to Sales Management N5. So this video, I want to look at the question of May 2025. So we are going to look at section A. So in terms of our section A, we have got matching words for the first part, whereby we have to choose a term from column B that matches a description in column A. So the first description that we have reads, the salesperson intentionally acts as if the prospect is buying the product. So we have to try to see what it means according to the terms that we are having in column B. So if you go down, you see that we've got further responses given in column B up to from A to J. So you see that the correct is assumptive clause, which we are having for a J. So we say J. So in terms of our assumptive clause, basically it is a sales technique where the salesperson assumes that the customer has already decided to buy and proceeds to discuss the details of the sale, such as payment or delivery. So that's the scenario that we have under the assumptive clause, and then the goal is to guide the customer towards purchasing. So basically, that's the main notion behind assumptive clause, to guide the customer towards purchasing. So this is what we have. So it makes a J the correct response that we have. Number two, used in cases where the product cannot be handled or is too large. So we'll say that the most appropriate that we have is H, which is models, which is H. Then we go to 1.1.3, requests and the order. The most appropriate according to what we have in column B is initiators. Of course, this is where we have the initiation. So we have got E. Then 4, the salesperson offers the prospect an incentive or a temptation to buy. So you'll see that this is the inducement technique, which we have on A. So that's basically what we have. Then we go to number 5. A factor influencing the selection of a forecasting model. We see that we have we check, trying to see what we have, which is the most appropriate. A factor influencing the selection of a forecasting model. So you see that the appropriate one that we have is accuracy. Accuracy is the most appropriate. Then moving on to the next, which is number 6, utilizing the opinions of executives without face-to-face discussions. So on number 6, you see that the correct one is the Delphi technique, which we have on G. So remember, the Delphi technique, it's basically a structured process for gathering collective opinions from a panel of experts to reach a consensus in a specific topic. Often is to focus trends or make decisions. So consider that under the Delphi technique, it uses multiple rounds of anonymous questionnaires where responses are summarized and feedback to participants, allowing them to revise their opinions based on the group's collective feedback until an agreement is reached. So basically, that's the process of Delphi technique. So we go to number 7. Prospects believe in certain preconceived ideas, principles, or superstitions, and they just buy a certain brands. So we see again which is the most appropriate. And we see that this is the prejudice, which we are having on F. But you see that prejudice basically is a preconceived opinion that is not based on a reason or actual experience. So that is what we have. So next F and D are most appropriate according to our responses that we have in column B. On the next one is signs contract. So we check in terms of signs contract, which one can be the most appropriate. So you see that the buyer is the one that signs the contract. So basically, buyer becomes the most appropriate according to our responses that we have. So we have a D. Then on number 9, based on every person's desire to receive gifts or something for free. So we see that according to our responses that we are having, the most appropriate is the premium approach, which I having on B. So basically, if you look at the premium approach, it involves giving prospects a free gift or a promotional item at the start of an interaction to build excitement. It might be to gain their attention and also to attract them to learn more about the product or brand. So that makes it the most appropriate. Then we go to number 10, disapproval from a prospect side that stops a sale from moving forward. So with that, we check again according to the responses that we have. I will see that this is an objection. An objection. Remember, an objection is an expression of disapproval. An expression of disapproval, or basically a reason for disagreeing. So that's an objection. So we have C as the most appropriate. So that's what we have on the first part of our section A. So move on to the second part that we have, which is now on 1.2, true or false. First part, market potentials refer to the share of the market potential than an individual business can reasonably expect to achieve. So you see that this is false. This is false. Remember, the market potential is the maximum possible revenue a product can generate within a specific market. So that's the market potential, which makes makes our statement to be not correct. So we go to number 2. If a prospect is acting on behalf of a company, marital status, interests, and hobbies are required. So remember, a prospect, when we're looking at a prospect, is a potential customer who fits the target market criteria. So that's a prospect. So I would say that the issue of marital status, interest, and hobbies are not required in that case. So that make it false also. Then on number 3, the salesperson must always be able to support a stimulating statement with evidence. So we see that this one is true. Then number 4, the age of a prospect plays an important role when preparing for a sales presentation, which is also true. So to number 5, if a prospect is only interested in a product or service but does not have a use or need for the product or service for himself or herself, or for a relative or his or her business, he or she does not qualify as a prospect, which is true. So we have true as the correct response. The number 6, a sales territory should not be so small that a salesperson will be calling on customers too often, which is also true. Number 7, in the jury of executive opinion forecasting method, members stay anonymous. They do not stay anonymous. So this makes this one false. Then a job specification is an accurate written description of the duties and responsibilities of the incumbent of a position, which is also false. Move on to number 9. Attaining customers through prospecting is an example of a supplementary service task, which makes our statement, which is not a supplementary service task, which makes it false. Number 10, competitor prices for similar products play an important role in the determination of product prices. We see that this is true, so we have true. Then, of course, we want to question 1.3.1, which reads, name the 7 steps in the selling process in the correct order. So, step 1, we have got prospecting. Step 2, pre-approach to the sales presentation. In brackets, planning of the sales presentation. So This is our step 2. Then on step 3, approach to the sales presentation. Step 4, sales presentation. And then we've got 5, handling of objections. 6, closing at the sale. And then 7, after sales invoice. So that is what we have in terms of steps in the selling process. Then we go to 1.3.2. Name the 3 categories into which a sales person's basic task can be divided. So you've got the sales tasks, supplementary services, and non-sales tasks. And this marks the end of our section 8. So thank you for listening, and hopefully the videos will be helpful. I will meet again in the next video.